fit in, yeah. I never thought that I would get this far. I wanna drive around in the nice cars. I wanna forget about my scars and just have a good night. I smoke something down, I drink something down. I'm feeling it now, I'm feeling it now. I could say it out loud. When I see you, my heart goes down, 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 down. I could say it out loud. Down, 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 down. Say it out loud. Down, down, down. I could say it out loud.
Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled.
It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone. It's so cold outside.
Break down, always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way. Even when I'm feeling down, I fight. Even when I don't know what is right, I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan.
It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone. It's so cold
He traded his guns for love, but he's caught in the crossfire. And he keeps waking up, but it's not to the sound of birds. The tyranny, the violent streets, deprived of all that we're blessed with. And we can't get enough, no. Heaven is you sent us down, so we could build
the play go round. For the sinners, the play as saints. You'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now. For every mother, every child, every brother, it's caught in the crossfire.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NEXXTCAR Racing League here on iRacing. Tonight, the NEXXTCAR Truck Series heads north of the border to Canada for the one road course race this season for the Truck Series. These drivers are going to have their hands full as they navigate these left and right-hand turns and elevation changes of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Tonight, redemption is on the line for two drivers in particular, while one driver looks to repeat what got him to victory lane here last season. While Nick Trudeau will look to back up his performance last season here and make the fewest mistakes amongst our top three finishers, Matt Tucker and Peyton Tulloch will look to rebound from their mistakes here last season. Last season's race came down to who made the least amount of mistakes out on the track. These drivers also had the challenge of a dense Canadian fog last season as well. Will the weather play another factor in tonight's race? Which driver will show they have what it takes to get it done up north, or will Nick make it back-to-back north of the border? It's time for road course racing NEXXTCAR style, and this is Canadian Tire.
It has to happen. Gotta prove myself. It has to happen like this, like this. You're going up against the greatest, and it's gonna get messy. If you wanna try to test me, you're going up against the greatest. Take a swing, you're gonna miss me. Yeah, it's going down in history. I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the NEXXTCAR Racing League for this season's road course race for the Truck Series here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Last season, it was a good race, but it came down to the driver who made the least amount of mistakes, and the driver that got it done here last season, Nick Trudeau, was the last one to make the least amount of mistakes in a three-way battle to see who was going to go to victory lane here in Canada last season. It came down between himself, Peyton Tulloch, and Matthew Tucker. Well, like we mentioned it, they pretty much played back and forth all season long, or all race long rather, when one driver, particularly the leader, made a mistake and handed it to the guy in second. Well, the guy who took over the lead ended up turning around and making a mistake himself and handing it right back to the other guy. So will that be another factor here tonight, or will these drivers learn from their mistakes that they made last season? You see Nick Trudeau right now going through the carousel, making his practice laps. These guys do have a couple laps here, or a couple minutes left here in practice. So these drivers need to use as much time as they can here for practice because, as you can see during the preview, well, these drivers were slipping. They're sliding in a big crash down to one of the stretches. I'm not even sure which one we're on, but Nick Trudeau's going to be involved in that one. But, folks, you see it. It is time for qualifying here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. These drivers are going to have their hands full. This is the first and only road course race of the season. So these drivers, they're not used to making right-hand turns. Well, they better make sure they're ready for it tonight. They better make sure they worked out that right arm tonight because it is going to be used a lot tonight around this 2.43-mile track. They are going to get a workout, and not only are they going to have to worry about their left and right-hand turns, they're going to have some elevation change to worry about as well. You saw it last season, and you've seen it a little bit here in practice, coming out of turns 2 and 4. Well, guess what? you're heading into a downhill. So at the very top of the hill, your truck is loose, your truck is wicked, and you got to use a lot to save it. And that is going to keep these drivers on the edge of their seats tonight. And not only that, it is going to keep us on the edge of our seats tonight. We are going to be in for one heck of a race here tonight. These guys, they learned a lot from last season. They learned what they can and cannot do, and I am looking to see them improve upon last season's race here tonight, as they have all season long in every race up to this season, or up to this point of the season. But folks, we are officially halfway through season 2. This is week number 6, baby. It is time for things to get heated up here in the championship battle. Let's go ahead and let's get your championship truck series standings up on the screen right now. You can see Ronnie Norman has got himself a little bit of a gap back to Brandon Dunford in second, with Matt Tucker third, Andrew Bolander fourth, and John Turner wrapping out your top 5. But what a season so far for Ronnie Norman, your top 5 as well. I mean, Matt Tucker coming hot off of the first season in the Cup Series. He is your defending Cup Series champion. Well, now he is showing that, hey, I can maybe get it done down here in the Truck Series as well. He's sitting third right now, so not too far behind Ronnie Norman, who is your leader and who has just been an absolute man on a mission this season. But Brandon Dunford, he got a couple wins last season. He's looking to try to get it done. He has yet to make it to victory lane this season, so can Brandon Dunford possibly find his way there? And then you got... then you got Hasong, Tulloch, Diamond, Trudeau, and Toby Kelsey rounding out your top 10. But a guy that we're going to be watching here tonight, matter of fact, is from Canada, so he knows how to get it done here. He sat pole last season. That is the guy in the 26th position, Stephen Henning. He's got 59 points so far this season, but you know what? He showed last season that he can get it done on a road course. I mean, he got the pole. Absolutely not an easy feat here in NEXXTCAR. You've seen it, guys. This is anybody's race. Week in and week out, you don't know who's going to get the pole. You don't know who's going to victory lane. Well, Stephen Henning was one of the few that grabbed the poles last season, so he knows how to get it done here at Canadian Tire. He shows he can have the speed, and that is going to be one of the guys that we're going to have to keep our eye on as this race progresses. But, folks, if you guys remember anything from last season here at Canadian Tire, the weather was anything but perfect for these drivers. They had a dense Canadian fog that they had to worry about as they navigated this 2.43 mile track. Well, tonight you guys can see it. Clear skies and sunny for these guys, so they have no excuses tonight. The last season, they could get away with a little bit of excuse of not being able to see a whole lot and their visibility being cut down, but tonight, clear skies and sunny, they have absolutely no excuses in this one tonight. But let's go ahead and let's get your truck details up here for tonight's race. Week number 6 here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in the north of the border 120, presented by HVAC Designs and W Energy. HVAC Designs created by our one of our drivers, and now he has stepped out as race control, Matthew Erickson. You guys know him. You'll hear him throughout both races in the Truck and Cup Series. I mentioned it. He was a Truck Series driver. He stepped out, filled in the position of race control, but he is the founder of HVAC Designs, and he painted a lot of these beautiful trucks that you'll see out here on the track tonight, and a bunch of the next-gen Cup cars that you will see out here tomorrow night as they take their road course challenge. But and then W Energy coming on board for their third season here. So absolutely great to have both of these guys on board. But, folks, we got 68 degrees, clear skies. We mentioned it. So there is absolutely no excuse that these drivers can use tonight with those 4-mile-an-hour winds. We mentioned it. 2.43 mile track with a track temperature of 74 degrees here in Bowmanville, Canada. This is going to be a good one, folks. It's the one and only road course of the season. So let's go ahead and let's get up your tower and see who has put down the fastest lap so far here in this one. Ronnie Norman is going to find himself at the top of the standings right now, with Dunford second, Henning third, Don Francisco fourth, and Tulloch right now rounding out your top 5 as we've got a little bit of overlay issues going on here. Let's go ahead and reload them. You can see 9th position was all messed up. There we go. All right, there we go. It's fixed itself there. As Tucker now is going to claim his stake inside the top 5, as he is going to was going to be third. But Stephen Henning, we just mentioned him, the Canadian himself, trying to figure out a way to get the victory lane here in his home state, or I'm sorry, home country rather. This is not the United States. We're up in Canada where they don't have states, but Henning looking to get it done in his home country. We mentioned it. He had the pole last season, so he knows how to be bad fast around this track. And right now, not too far off from the pole, Ronnie Norman showing the way here, about a second quicker than Dunford and rest of the field. So there's some time to be found by the rest of the field. But Norman, we mentioned it. He has been a man on a mission all season long. And the man is showing that he is not letting up here halfway through this season, and he is still going to be on a tear as we go towards Rockingham Speedway, week number 10, and that will be the ending race here. That'll mark the end of Season 2 here in 4 weeks. Can't believe we're officially halfway through Season 2. It has been a heck of a season. We mentioned it. These drivers learned a lot last season. They have improved upon it as the season has progressed, and it has been awesome to see week in and week out the tracks that we went to last season coming into this season, just how much these drivers have improved, and they have improved a ton as now Trudeau and Bocock make their way up inside the top 10. I'm not exactly sure how many drivers we have out here right now. We are looking at 10. It looks like we are going to have 18 total drivers show up for tonight's race right now. Only 10 have put down qualifying laps, so that is going to split the field up pretty good here, but I'm not sure how much longer these guys have. They actually have 3 minutes left here in qualifying, so without further ado, let's head down to the track and let's get your drivers meeting started here in Canada. All right, fellas, can you all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, fellas, welcome to your first and only road course here of the season for the Truck Series at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. You guys got 50 laps around this 2.46-mile track. It's going to be fun. It's going to be slick. You guys found that out in practice. With it being slick, full course cautions are off. So automatic cautions will not be coming out, but if multiple trucks are involved in the caution, let Matthew Erickson, our race controller, know, and he will throw the caution as he sees fit. Same with the black flags. If you guys get a black flag, just let him know, and he will do as he sees fit with that as well. You guys got 5 sets of tires waiting on you, 4 of those on pit road with 1 fast repair. 30X tonight for incident counter. Anybody got anything?
Just take it easy tonight.
How are we doing the full caution thing if it comes down to it?
Yes, sir. So if 2 or more trucks are involved in a caution, let Matthew Erickson know, and he will throw a caution. We just turned it off because we don't want the caution being thrown for one car going through a gravel pit. So if you guys see a big caution or whatever, just let Matt know, as obviously this track is huge, and it's very hard for him to see every inch of this place. So be mindful of that and let him know.
We're gonna throw a caution even if those 2 or more vehicles get going.
That will be up to Erickson's discretion.
Yeah, if cars are still rolling and they just spun and they keep going and they're off the racing surface, I'll keep it green as much as I can, but if they're in the way of oncoming traffic or it's just too hard for people to get around, then I'll call it.
10-4.
Also, in both series, everyone has done a fantastic job of it. I know, Erickson, you've been involved in it, but let's let everyone know where the pace car is as well around this track, so when you don't go around one of these blind turns, you run into the back of everybody. But if no one else has anything, you guys got about 5 seconds here before you start gridding. Good luck, everyone. Let's have a good one. Let's keep it clean, and let's have a good one tonight.
Good luck, everyone, and good win, Ronnie.
It's gonna end.
All right, we got to jump in here real quick. Give me 1 second. Let's make our UI a little smaller. That way the iRacing down there in the bottom right corner doesn't take up the whole screen. There we go, folks. Gridding is underway here at Canadian Tire. Let's check out your starting grid for tonight's race. Grabbing his pole, Ronnie Norman for HVAC Motorsports in the number 6 with Brandon Dunford going to be starting on his outside. Steve Henning, the man looking to get it done here in his home country, in 3rd with Matt Tucker 4th. Nicholas Don Francisco 5th with Peyton Tulloch in 6th. Mitch Diamond 7th, Nicholas Trudeau 8th, J.D. Larson 9th, Steve Bocock rounding out your top 10. With Jeff Taylor in 11th, obviously I am not going to be 12th, so that'll move Christopher Thomas up to 12th. Aaron Moore will go up to 13th. Cole Larson will move up to 14th. Alberto Ebar up to 15th. Jonathan Wright up to 16th. And then Robert Babcock will move up to 17th. I know we got a couple more guys that have not made the grid yet, so that is why their names are not popping up here. So these drivers, they're going to have their hands full tonight. There's absolutely no doubt about it around this 2.46-mile track. Canadian Tire last season provided its challenges to these drivers, so I have absolutely no doubt that they can take what they learned last season and move it into tonight's race. And Ronnie Norman, we mentioned it, has been a man on a mission all season long. Can he get it done once again here in north of the border here in Canada? But waiting on the rest of the field to hit the grid line, and then the Porsche safety car will lead these NEXXTCAR trucks around this track under pace laps to take the green flag. There you see it. The pace car is going to lead the trucks off the gridding. Let's see if we can't dial up your pole sitter, Ronnie Norman, in that number 6. Ronnie Norman. It's Ronnie up in the booth, buddy. You got me. Ronnie to Ronnie. You got me, buddy.
He can't hear you, Ronnie.
Copy that. Nicholas Trudeau, you got me, buddy.
Yeah, I got you, Ron.
All right, man. Last season, it came down to making the fewest mistakes, and you made the fewest ones in those closing laps. What's it going to take for you to get it done here tonight in this one?
Same thing. Just keep it clean. And Ronnie seems pretty fast, so I'm not going to push it. Just try to get the best finish, and hopefully by the end we'll be there.
Absolutely, brother. Good luck. All right, folks, the pace car leading the field into the final turns here of this 2.46-mile track at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It's going to be a good one tonight. You see the elevation changes. These drivers, there's challenges all around this track tonight that these drivers are going to have to deal with. They're going to have to overcome. You're going to make mistakes, but it's going to come down to not allowing those mistakes to make the rest of your race. You're going to have to overcome it. Who is going to be able to do just that tonight? The pace car on the pit road. Ronnie Norman leading the field out of the 11th turn. Green flag's going to be in the air here tonight north of the border in Canada. Green flag is in the air as Ronnie Norman's going to get himself a huge launch while Dunford stacks up the field behind him. Brandon Dunford did not get the best of launches, but Matthew Tucker did. He's going to take it to the inside, look into the inside of 19. Not going to be able to get it done heading down the down the hill. We got Christopher Thomas around. Larson's around as well. JD, the big one happening in turn number 3. Caution is going to fly here for the first time tonight here on lap 1. Steve Bocock's off into the grass as well. We stay green. J.D. Larson still slipping and sliding out back. He's off in the grass. He's going to try to get it underway. We got another car. That is going to be the 60, or I'm sorry, that's the 04 in the grass. I thought that's the 65 of Mitch Diamond, but it's the 04 of Jonathan Wright, who now has an absolute mirror full to the 18. He's going to lock it up with Christopher Thomas sitting sideways on the track. He's going to come back in the front of the field. They're going to get it rolling again. The 5's going to use a little bumper, and he's going to get that truck rolling again, but major implications for several drivers here on lap 1. This is all a product of no automatic cautions here tonight. But Ronnie Norman leads the field around a complete lap 1 of 50. These drivers, if they don't get it figured out and they don't get it cleaned up, well, they're going to be in for a long one tonight. Matthew Tucker's going to lose it out of turn number 1. He's going to spin it. He's going to keep it from going into the rest of the field. Get it started, Matt. Looked like he started there for a second. Get it started. Get it rolling before you get a caution. We stay green, but Matt is going to fall all the way from 3rd down to 8th. But out front, Ronnie Norman is pulled away to a 1.8 second lead here. As you can see, the challenges that these drivers are going to be facing all race long, already biting some of these guys here on just lap 2. Stephen Henning, your Canadian of the league, up to 3rd. He started 3rd. He's still in 3rd, so great start for that 64 truck. Peyton Tulloch, kind of the road course ringer of NEXXTCAR. He's worked his way up to 4th, plus 2 positions in that number 17, with Nicholas Don Francisco right behind him in 5th. Right now, your biggest mover of the race, that number 14 of Robert Babcock, plus 10 positions up from 19th up to 9th already in this one. Already making his way up inside that top 10. But you see it, folks. 17 drivers are racing out here on Canadian Tire right now. A lot of guys didn't want to race this one. Well, I can see why a little bit. But now you see Babcock losing it through the quick turns. But Ronnie Norman continues to show the way here around this one. Don Francisco's got an absolute mirror full of the 65 at Diamond. Don Francisco's going to slide it. He's going to spin it right in front of the 65. The 65 is going to have probably quite a bit of damage to the front of that truck. He's going to keep it rolling, though. We stay green. And major implications continue for some of these guys here in this one. We talked to a bunch of these drivers. As you see, last season's winner here, Nick Trudeau, sitting sideways in the chicane back here, the bus stop. He's going to get it rolling again, but the 89 of Nick Trudeau, your last season's winner here at Canadian Tire, struggling here on lap number 3. You saw Steve Bocock right there locking up the 48, crab walking down the stretch. Major damage to the 48 of Nicholas Don Francisco, crab walking it up the back hill. Look at that thing. Watch out, Larson. Matt Tucker looking to rebound a little bit here. Remember, he spun it, fell all the way back to 8th, but now worked his way up to 7th. But Ronnie Norman has pulled out to about a 3.1 second lead here in this one, with Brandon Dunford, Henning, Tulloch, and Diamond behind him. Don Francisco obviously coming down pit road to get that truck fixed. Going to have to use his one fast repair early on here on lap number 4. And the caution's going to fly for the first time tonight. Nick Trudeau involved in this one. Let's back it up and see what happened here in this one. Way off the track here. Him, Jeff Taylor, several guys involved in this one. Jeff Taylor just got in the grass a little bit, and it shot his truck sideways, and both of them hit that tire wall barrier there. But they're going to get it rolling there. Not exactly sure why the caution was thrown, but it was. But we are under caution for the first time tonight. That's about the last thing Ronnie Norman wanted to see, but I guarantee you he's not too worried about it because if he can get out to that lead one time, he can probably do it again here. So Ronnie Norman's going to see that big lead he had diminish, but like I said, I have no doubt he's going to be able to do it again today. But, man, definitely not what you want to see if you're Nicholas Don Francisco in that number 48, already having to use that one fast repair here. And that was on lap 4 that he had to come down and use that. So he's going to have to take it easy here for the remaining 45 laps if he is going to try to have a truck at the end of this one to bring home in victory lane. I know right now he's sitting back there in the 15th position, but he's going to have to take it easy, just ride around and try to get the 48 truck to the rest of these 45 laps here. It's going to be a challenge, but he definitely can get it done. But Ronnie Norman out front, continuing to lead the way here as the field is trying to catch back up to him under pace laps. Let's go ahead and let me see if we get your track map up there in the top right corner. You guys can see the track that these drivers are going to be dealing with tonight. You see that red line on the right side, that short straightaway. Well, that's your start-finish line. And then you see all these twists and turns, left hand and right hand, that these drivers are going to be dealing with here tonight. That is your official track map for Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Let's see. Do we have any pit takers? Let's see if we have anyone coming down pit road. Remember, these guys only have 4 sets of tires waiting on them. You see the 04 coming down to Jonathan Wright, Nick Trudeau in the 89 coming down. J.D. Larson, the 21 of Aaron Moore, the 13 of Alberto Abar. So a couple takers here on lap 6. But a couple of these guys had a bunch of damage that they needed to get fixed. So not surprised to see a couple of these guys come down. The biggest thing about Canadian Tire is these laps take so long under pacing conditions. I mean, let's just take a quick look at their last laps. Most of them around 2 minutes, right around 2 minutes and 15 seconds for most of these guys. Obviously, everyone in the back there from about 7th on back, they are going faster to catch up to the pace car, but roughly around 2 minutes and 20 seconds per pace lap. When normally, under race conditions, you're about 1 minute and 20, 23 to 25-ish, So you're almost adding on a whole extra minute of pacing here. So, that's going to be interesting tonight is patience is going to be key here, whether it's, during race green flag conditions or these pace laps. You got to use what you can. You got to use the elevation to try to save as much fuel as you can here. A bunch of these races have come down to fuel strategy, and that's going to be no different tonight here. I mean, it's only 50 laps, but they're going to have to be mindful of that fuel gauge and use what they can to their advantage. But folks, we should be going side by side this time. We should see the lights on that Porsche pace car go off this time, and we do. Norman Dunford, Henning Tulloch, Tucker Diamond, Larson Bocock, Abar Don Francisco, your top 10, your top 5 rows here as they are going to be going back racing here on lap 8. 7 down, a long way to go. 43 laps left in this one. We mentioned it. Patience is going to be key, and these drivers are going to have to use their patience now more than ever. You got your butterflies out of the way here for road course racing. A bunch of these guys had to come down and use some quick repairs. They had to get some damage fixed. Well, now you have got to limp your truck onto the checkered flag because you cannot afford to go out there and get a bunch more damage here. So you're going to see a lot of these guys starting to take it a little easier this time on this restart, because they just can't afford to go out there and do anything different. But there's your field coming out of the bus stop there. But we mentioned it. Last season, these drivers had to deal with the fog. Well, that fog is not here today, so these drivers have absolutely no excuse this time. I know a couple guys were talking about the visibility last season, and I'll be honest, up here in the booth, well, that fog did play a big factor, so I can't imagine the factor that it played for these guys down on the track, having to set up for the corners and everything like that, just that thick Canadian fog rolling through. But folks, we are about to go back racing here in this one as they are heading into the final 2 turns of this pace lap. They got a left-hander and then a real quick right-hander, but that pace car, the Porsche pace car, hooking that hard right, back onto pit road. The control of the field in Norman's hands coming out of turn 11. Green flag is going to be back out in the air here in Canada. Another great launch for Norman. The 19 spins those tires a little bit, but no one's able to take full advantage of it. Here comes Henning, and here comes Peyton Tulloch around that outside as well. Couple of loose trucks there coming out of turn 1. The 65 a little almost getting off the track. How does everybody do on back here? Everyone's going to make it further than they did in lap 1. We talked about it. Patience is going to be key. You're going to have to use it now more than ever. Well, they already are showing a lot more than they did on the first lap as they make it all the way to turn number 4 without any incidents. But Ronnie Norman already up to a 0.65 second lead. But Steve Henning and Brandon Dunford are right there with them with the rest of the field behind. Norman pulling out to about a second lead here down this backstretch. It's a very long backstretch. It's hilly, but you get a lot of draft down this backstretch. You can see it. Dunford starting to pull up on Norman a little bit, but Norman just looks like he's able to outbreak the rest of the field. The 48 of Don Francisco off and into the grass. Watch out, as our camera's going to turn at a very unfortunate time. The 48's going to spin it off into the access, but it looks like he's going to get it rolling again. Let's back it up there because that was a very unfortunate camera switch time as he almost took out the truck in front of him. Man, that was close for Cole Larson in that 20. But heads up move by Don Francisco to lock it down and keep it rolling. We stay green here in Canada, but Ronnie Norman out to just under a second lead over Dunford and Henning. Got some really good racing right here around the 13 truck of Alberto Abar battling for that top 10 position. Here comes the 14 of Babcock trying to take that top 10 position away from him. And then Babcock's got a mirror full of more. And then the 5 of Christopher Thomas is 1 lap down. But a great battle right now for that final 10th position. Ronnie Norman out to a 2.1 second, now 2.2 second lead over Dunford and the rest of the field. Henning trying to bring the battle to the back bumper of Dunford. Henning, we talked about him. He grabbed the pole here last season. He's fast here. He's Canadian. He loves his road course racing, and he knows he has a shot to get it done here in this one tonight. If he gets the opportunity, he will be one of the ones that you're going to need to watch as this race progresses through the last 40 laps. Paint to luck sideways in turns 1 and 2. Watch out. Mitch Diamond's going to miss him. Matt Tucker's going to miss him. He's going to lock it down. He's going to get it rolling. We stay green. Now the 12 of Bocock's going to make his way around the 17, and here comes the 20, who just was inches away from getting taken out a couple laps ago. Now working his way up to the 8th position and to the back bumper of that 17. Now Payne's going to have to be careful through this bus stop up here because his rear tires are going to be hot. They're going to be slick. They're going to be upset. Well, he's going to have to be careful to not get back to the gas a little too early, as you see Steve Bocock really slow on that exit, opening up the door for the 17, but Peyton Tulloch, like I said, was going to have to be careful not to get those rear tires loose and lose them there coming out of the bus stop, but he's going to do a fantastic job. He's up into the 6th position now, taking that over from Steve Bocock, who just capitalized on his mistake. And then we got another big battle brewing up here between Tucker and Diamond. This is your battle for 4th, bumper to bumper, 25 and 65 coming to complete lap 11. Here, lap 10 starting lap 11 here as they head down into turns 1 and 2. Remember, they're heading into turn 2, which turn 2 has caused its issues so far here in this one. You see the downhill transition. Your truck gets so light at the top of these hills, and you've got to be extremely careful not to overcook it down there into the third turn. And you see the 65 looking to Matt's inside. Matt's going to not really allow him to get there, but now he is on the exit of turn 4. They're going to have a drag race heading down into turn 5, heading into the chicane in 6. Matt Tucker's going to defend him nicely, but here comes the 65. He's going to lock up that right front tire. You saw him wheel hop it a little bit. He's going to have to lock it up. He's going to lose a little bit to the 25, but he's going to recover beautifully as he's now going to try to bring that battle back to him. We just talked about it. You get a great draft down this long backstretch here at Canadian Tire. Yeah, there's a little bit of curve to it. There's a little bit of altitude change in that elevation, but, man, you get one heck of a draft if you were behind the guy in front of you. And Mitch Diamond looking to try to get that draft as they head down here into the final couple of turns, but Matt Tucker looking to hold him off and continue to run around in the 4th position. Payne Tulloch has rebounded up to 6th after that little incident you just saw him make there in turn 2. Steve Bocock sideways coming out of the final turn, but he's going to keep it rolling straight there. Great save by the 12, who now has an absolute mirror full of Jonathan Wright in the 04. Got a nice little battle brewing for 2nd as well. Dunford and Henning, 19 and 64. Dunford's going to build that gap up nicely there over a 2nd now to Henning. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Henning there, but he was extremely slow there through turn 3. And it shows right there he lost a ton of ground. Let's see if we can't jump inside the cockpit of this number 19 truck here. Now let's get his dashboard up in the bottom right corner. You can see it 163 mile an hour down that backstretch, all the way down into 2nd gear, down to a 95 mile an hour. Through the right-hander, hooking a hard left, and then going to have to set up for another quick right-hander, and then down the front stretch they go. But all the way down to 70 mile an hour through the quick backs there of the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Let's stay on him for this lap here and see just what kind of line he's running, what kind of gearing he's doing. As you see him all the way down into 2nd, all the way down to 100 mile an hour there. Through turns 1, heading up into turn 2, you see him out of the gas early, on the brake a little bit there, trying to keep the truck underneath him here as they head into the downhill portion of turn 2. All the way down to 76 mile an hour through turns 3, coming into turn 4 here, another downhill portion of this track. Let's watch his hands as he navigates this downhill. Sawing the wheel back and forth, trying to keep the rear end of this truck underneath him so he doesn't spin it. down here into the bus stop. Back-to-back right-hand turns. You got to be really careful coming out of this one. You get back to the gas a little too early right there. You're going to break the rear of that truck loose and sideways, and that's about the last thing you want to do because you're pretty much going to spin it after that one. But up through the gears, up to third, up to fourth here as they head, actually not even hitting fourth gear, staying in third the whole way down the backstretch. Interesting that he stayed in third that entire way. But now back into the quick backs here of the Canadian Tire, and that is going to complete a lap here around the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. On board, Brandon Dunford in that number 19 truck. And while all that was happening, here comes Henning. Henning's cut it down to about a second between himself and Dunford, while Norman has continued to pull away to just over a 5-second gap. And then it's 7 seconds back to Tucker in fourth. The 04, Jonathan Wright off the track. He's going to save it. He's going to keep it rolling straight, but he is going to lose a bunch of positions here on lap 14. Major implications for one of the best here in NEXXTCAR. Jonathan Wright not having a great start to this one here, but hey, keep your head up, buddy. You might get another caution, and Jonathan Wright is definitely one of the ones that you're going to have to always keep an eye on. Whether it's here at a road course, whether it's at a super speedway, whether it's at an intermediate track, Jonathan Wright is one of the best to do it here in NEXXTCAR. So don't count that 04 out yet because he is always going to be there at the end. But, folks, we have got ourselves a nice battle brewing here for second. Henning has cut it down. He's right there, half a second behind the 19. Oh, Henning, save it, buddy. Loses it out of turn one, but a fantastic job of keeping that 64 truck underneath them as they head into turn two. But a fantastic job by Henning keeping that truck underneath them. That could have been bad while you're battling for second. That would have been a hard one to swallow there if you're Henning, but fantastic job keeping that Chevy underneath them, keeping it pointed in the right direction. Live another lap, buddy. Take that battle back to Dunford. You got this, man. But this is where the trucks really get upset right here in the bus stop, especially on the exit right there. I mentioned it, you cannot get back to the gas too early because if you do, you're going to break those rear tires loose. You know, especially when they're hot like that coming through that bus stop. You break those rear tires loose, it is so easy to spin this truck out right there. And, you know, you saw it. Nick Trudeau had his issues early on. Steve Bocock had his issues coming out of the bus stop. And, you know, these drivers, I mentioned it, are going to have challenges all the way around this 2.46 mile track. And, man, these guys love to make it look like I know what I'm talking about. But here comes Henning. Henning, once again, bringing the battle back to the 19 at Dunford. Let's jump inside the cockpit of Henning here as they're heading down into turn number 2 in the downhill portion of this corner. You see these trucks sliding, getting sideways through the downhill portion. That's kind of what you want to do at this point. You don't want to get it too loose, but you need to get it a little loose so it helps you turn a little bit. But right now, that 19 really sawing it to the left there. Big save by the 64. You saw his hands hooking it hard left in a right-hand turn. That's the last thing you want to do. But fantastic job by Henning keeping that truck underneath him here as he's going to live another turn. And the 19 is going to try to keep him behind him just one more time here. Got another good battle brewing back here in 11th and 12th. Larson and Moore with Don Francisco right behind them. Caution is out for just the second time tonight. It's looking like it might be with the 14, the 25. Let's back it up and let's see what exactly happened here. The 14 way off the track. All right, that was that one. I also got a notification that Matt Tucker in the 25 was off the track. Just carrying way too much speed through the bus stop right there for Babcock. Oh, yep, Matt Tucker's off the track as well. Just carrying way too much speed. And does a great job of keeping it out of the tire barrier. Not exactly seeing what would have been significant enough to bring your caution out, but unless maybe Christopher Thomas here. Ah, that's your caution right there. Christopher Thomas and Alberto Eibar bring out your second caution of the night, mixed up with a bunch of other drivers, all kind of wrecking together. But right there, the 13 just leads the 5 off the hill there, coming down to turn number 2, and right around they go. But you are going to be under caution for the second time tonight here on lap number 17. But folks, we're going to step away here for a quick break. Don't go anywhere, as we're going to be right back to bring you more of the action here north of the border at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Don't go anywhere, folks. We are going to be right back.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Well, folks, you saw pit lane was about as busy as it gets under this caution, and that pit lane exit looked like an LA freeway at 5 p.m. rush hour time. But we are side by side. The lights are off on this Porsche pace car. We are about to go back racing here in this one. Coming to start lap 20 of 50 when the green flag drops this time. Ronnie Norman, Brandon Dunford, Steve Henning, Mitch Diamond, Matthew Tucker make up your top 5 here tonight. Oh, we got wrecking out back. The 20 of Cole Larson. I'm not exactly sure what just happened with him, but major implications for him out back. But the pace car hooking that hard left back onto pit road. The control of the field in that 6 truck's hand. Norman is going to lead us back to the green flag here in Canada. Up and down the gears they go here on lap number 20 as Norman's going to lead them down into the bus stop. Coming up here after this downhill. But how about Steve Bocock up here making his way inside the top 5 in that number 12 right behind Matthew Tucker, right in front of him. We've seen Tucker have his issues so far in this one is the 65 of Mitch Diamond looking to rebound from Hibbs, and he's going to have a struggle coming out. Big block by the 65 to the 25 coming out of the bus stop. Not allowing the 25 to capitalize on the mistake by the 65, but Matt Tucker isn't done. He's going to take it to the inside of the 65 as they head down the long backstretch. He is going to clear the 65. Matthew Tucker is going to move up into third. But here comes the 65 of Mitch Diamond right back at him. This is exactly what you want to see if you're Steve Bocock. You want to see these two battling side by side, battling hard in front of you. Because with them doing that, that is going to help you get back up to him here. But now he's got a battle of his own. It's the 17 of Tillock trying to get around him here as they head through turns 1 into turn 2 in the downhill portion. We have got ourselves a big battle right now for second. Tucker's worked his way around that 65. That last lap now has worked his way up to the back bumper. Dunford in the HVAC Motorsports number 19 Toyota Tundra as they head down into turn 4, as they head into the bus stop here. In this one, 19's going to have to try to keep that truck underneath him. Here comes the 65. I thought he was going to try to do a little bump and run there on the 25. But the 25 is going to be a little slow coming out of that second bus stop. But he's going to do enough to keep that 65 behind him. But here comes Tillock and Bocock. Dunford has got an absolute mirror of several trucks behind him, putting pressure on the back of that 19 truck. That is not what you want to have if you're Dunford. You know, these guys being right on you like that, don't let them force you into a mistake, man. Just keep running your race, keep running your line. But absolutely nobody has shown anything for the number 6 tonight. Steve Bocock goes a little wide there on that entrance into turn number 3. But he's going to keep it on the track. He's going to keep it underneath them. But Mitch Diamond now all over the back bumper to 25. Let's jump inside the cockpit of the 65, see what he sees heading down here into turn number 4. Caution is out for the 3rd time tonight. We're getting word Jeff Taylor is going to be the one to bring out your 3rd caution here. Oh, major implications for a couple of these drivers. The 11, the 21, all involved in this one with the 5 of Christopher Thomas. The 48 of Don Francisco, big implications here. Already sitting sideways. Henning involved in it as well. One of your top 3 trucks all race long. Something happened to Don Francisco way before this. Just loses it, gets into the grass a little bit on that inside line, loses it, does a great job of holding it right there against the wall so he doesn't get ran over from behind, but Larson gets off into the grass. The 64 Henning actually makes it through with no mistakes, and then Don Francisco just backs it into the path of the 04, and everyone else piles in on him. Let's see what exactly happened to the 64. You saw him up against the tire barrier. Looked like he had Larson missed. And then you skid off into grass, and this grass is like hitting ice. Just can't get it slowed down and stopped in time, and right into the tire barrier himself, and the 21 goes. But folks, we are under caution for the 3rd time in this one. But pit road was extremely busy this last caution, so I don't expect any of these trucks to come down this time. As we are closing in on the halfway mark of this one here, as we are on lap 23, coming to start 24 this time out of 50. All right, I take that back. Tucker, Diamond, they're both coming to pit road. Bocock, Taluck, Larson, the rest of the field coming down pit road. I take back exactly what I just said, as everyone except for the front 2 come down pit road, and it looks like maybe Babcock stay out? Nope. Alberto's in. Who is that staying out? No, that is Alberto that stayed out. So Alberto's going to stay out, and he's going to move up into that 3rd position, as we have got several takers here for pit road. I did not think we were going to, but some of these guys getting those quick repairs done. You saw Henning have to use his right there, but the 65, the 25, and the 12 going to lead the rest of the field off of pit road here, as next time by they will start halfway point. But how about this number 6, man? Ronnie Norman, we talked about it, has been a man on a mission all season long, and tonight is absolutely no different. He has continued this strength. You know, the man is definitely, making himself known as one of the best in NEXXTCAR. Well, he is not letting this road course slow him down at all. This is the one and only road course this season for the Truck Series, and Ronnie Norman from Indiana is showing that he can get it done here on these road courses as well, as he has just been the man to beat all night long in that number 6 FanDuel Ford F-150. Brandon Dunford, he has shown himself some strength in that truck as well. He's been in the top 3 most of the tonight, battling himself with Henning there for a while. Alberto Abar staying out there in this caution. That is going to move him up into that 3rd position from Lynchburg, Virginia, with Mitch Diamond behind him from Michigan in that number 65, working his way up inside that top 5, with Matthew Tucker rounding out your top 5 from Anderson, Indiana. But we should be going side by side this time. And we are. The pace car. The lights are off. Pit lane. The exit is going to still be open. These guys are going to have to book it. That's Taylor. That's Don Francisco. That's Cole Larson. As Cole Larson's going to now have to... he's going to end up having to let the field go by here, as he did not beat the pace car off of pit road. So that is going to be big implications there for Larson, as he will now be scored 1 lap down along with Wright and Thomas. And then Taylor is 4 laps down in at number 11. But Larson, I'm not exactly sure what is happening with that truck. He is going to be lining up right in front of the leaders here behind that pace car. There he goes. Now he's passing the pace car. All right. The field really fanning out behind the leaders here. There they go. Now they're getting side by side. But folks, this has exactly split this race in half. When we go back racing, when the green flag drops this time, we will officially be halfway here at Canadian Tire in the NEXXTCAR Truck Series. They have officially split this race in half. We are going to be in for an exciting one here in the second half. Norman, Dunford, Abar, Diamond, Tucker, your top 5. As we have extended the caution 1 more lap, as I'm not exactly sure why. I'm assuming that would be for Cole Larson, as he is not caught up to the field. But, I mean, he kind of did that to himself there, staying behind the pace car as long as he did. But, folks, we are not going to be going green this time. You see the yellow lights back on that pace car. We are going to be extended 1 more caution lap. Now the lights are off on that Porsche. We should be going back racing this lap. But now officially halfway through this one, folks. It's been tricky for these drivers. They've had their hands full. This track has been slick. It's been challenging. And these drivers have been absolutely rising to the challenge of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And that first half has been fun. Hopefully they can continue it here in the second half. I have absolutely no doubt that they can, but a couple new guys finding themselves up at the front of this one. Alberto Abar now up inside that top 5 in that 3rd position. We mentioned that he did not pit under this last caution, so taking full advantage of track position up into 3rd. Mitch Diamond working his way up into 4th. And then a little bit further back, you got Robert Babcock up there in the 7th and 8th position. You see him switching back and forth. I believe he's actually going to be in the 8th position. But Babcock's worked his way up. Henning ran inside the top 3 for so much of the early part of this race. Well, now he's back in the 9th position in that number 64. So it's going to be interesting to see just how can Henning work his way up through this field in that number 64 Chevy. Like I said, he was up inside the top 3 most of this race, so it's going to be awesome to see him continue that speed here into the second half of this race, and if he can't get back up there and battle for that top 3 position again. But folks, the lights are off on that Porsche one more time. We should be going back racing this time here at Canadian Tire. The 6 and the 19 have made up your front row every single restart tonight. The 6 has gotten a great launch every time. The 19, not so much. Will the 19 get it figured out this time as we are going back racing on lap 27? 26 laps completed here at this junction of the race. The control of the field in Norman's hands in the 6. Green flag's going to be back out in the air once again here at Canadian Tire. Alberto Abar stacks up that inside line. Remember, that 13 is on extremely old tires right now as you see Tucker trying to find his way around that 13. Caution is going to be out for the 4th time as they're all going to wreck on the front stretch. Payne Tulloch's going to overshoot the corner. He's going to be off in the grass under caution. The 17 is going to wreck it in turn 2. Let's back it up and see if we can't figure out what exactly was the reason for this caution. You see the 5 of Christopher Thomas right there. Something happened. Oh, that outside line checked up from Aaron Moore on back, it looks like. Right there. Aaron Moore does not get going. Nick doesn't anticipate it. Neither does the 5. And right around goes Nick Trudeau and the 5. Let's see if we can't get Nick's point of view here. Right there, the 21 checks up. The 5 doesn't anticipate it, right into the outside wall. The 89 goes. The 5's going to spin it as well. 89's going to lock it down so he doesn't hit the wall and get more damage. Let's back it up and see if we can't jump inside the cockpit of this 89 truck as well. You saw it right there. We're going to turn the truck volume up here. Listen to his acceleration. He guns it and then slams on the brakes. And then the 5 of Thomas just has absolutely no idea that that checkup is coming. And right around goes the 5 as well. Definitely not the race that Nick Trudeau has wanted, as he has been looking to try to rebound from last season. Remember, last season he made it to victory lane here at Canadian Tire. He was looking to back it up here in this one, but Nick Trudeau, definitely not the way he wanted this race to go. There's absolutely no doubt about it, but hey, he's still running out there in the 14th position. A lot of racing left here as we are closing in on 22 laps to go this time. So a lot of racing left in this one, but Ronnie Norman is going to continue to see these laps tick down here in this one as they are trying to catch back up to the pace car here at Canadian Tire. Ronnie Norman's finally going to find the back of that pace car, and he is going to lead the field back to it. But, folks, we're actually going to step away here for a quick intermission. Don't go anywhere, as we will be right back to bring you more of the action here from Canadian Tire
And if you
Motorsports.
sent us down so we could build a playground for the sinners who play as saints, you'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now for every mother, every child, every brother caught in the crossfire. Trust what I'm giving. My faith still needs a gun. Whose ammunition justifies the wrong? And I can't see from the backseat, so I'm asking from above. Can I trust what I'm giving, even when it cuts? So heaven, if you sent us down, so we can build a playground for the sinners to play your saints. You'll be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now for every mother, every child, every brother that's caught in the crossfire. Just tell me where you wanna go. Let me take you there. You see, I've been around the globe. I've seen a lot, babe. But I wanna see what's above. I wanna see what's below. Just tell me where you wanna go. You can name the place, yeah, you can name the time. We can leave it all behind. No stop or rewind, before we running out of time.
All right, folks, the lights are off on that Porsche pace car. The field is side by side, so that means one thing and one thing only. We are going back racing this time. 30 out of 50 completed here tonight. We have got 20 laps to go north of the border here at Canadian Tire. You're going to see the lap counter tick over here in this one as the field receives the green flag. Norman is going to lead the field once again out of the final turn, control the field in his hands. Green flag's going to be back out in the air here at Canadian Tire. 20 to go. Dunford trying to protect that inside from Diamond. He's going to do a fantastic job as they're going to head down into the downhill portion here in turn 2. Almost side by side. The 65 is going to back off. That's going to get him to the back bumper, though, to the 19. Here comes Tucker, but here comes the 65 to the inside now, the 19. Trying to outbreak him heading into turn number 3. Big move by the 65 at Diamond. If anybody has anything for that 6, it's going to be the 65 at Diamond. You have seen these two battle it out all season long, whether it's been in the Truck Series or the Cup Series. These two have found themselves right in the thick of it all, and now they're finding themselves right in the mix of it here at Canadian Tire at the road course, the one and only road course of the season here for the Truck Series. So whoever wins this one, well, they got a whole season of bragging rights to talk about how they won the one and only road course this season. But Norman has been the man on a mission tonight, but now has a mirror full of a brand new truck behind him, the 65 of Mitch Diamond. Dunford has been the truck behind that 6 all night long. But now the 19 finds himself back in position. Gonna have to battle his way back up there. But right now the field making sure the 6 of Norman does not pull away like he has in the past. How about Tucker? What a rebound for that 25. Absolutely struggled during practice. The opening laps were rough for him, but now finding himself up here once again, still inside the top 5. Robert Babcock in the 14. He was involved in an incident earlier on 2. Now finds himself up here inside the top 5 in at number 14. But how about Henning? How about Trudeau? You saw him mixed in with that last incident. Now finding himself up here in the 7th position. What a rebound for the 89. But Steve Henning, man, that put it on the pole last season here in his home country race of Canada. He started in 3rd tonight. He found himself up inside the top 3 for 90% of the first half of this race. Now, after getting mixed up in an incident, finding himself having to rebound, but doing a fantastic job up in 6th. The Canadian loves his road courses. He's shown that he has got a ton of speed. And now trying to put that speed to good use with 18 laps to go. But Norman now starting to build himself a gap between himself and that 65 of Diamond. While Diamond has now he has lost the battle of the 6, but he has gained a battle of the 19. Dunford not going to let that 65 get away too easily. Here comes Dunford. The 65's off into the grass. Big save. But here comes the 19. Here comes the 65. Or I'm sorry, the 25. Now, the 65. A miraful of the 25. 65 all over the back bumper to the 19. You see it right there at the bus stop. The 65's going to get a little squirrely coming out of the last bus stop, but he's going to keep it underneath them. He's going to hold on to that 3rd position. But here comes Tucker trying to use the big draft down the long back stretch to his advantage. Henning trying to find himself back up inside the top 5 on the outside of Babcock, trying to outbreak him. Beautiful job by the 64. He's going to claw his way back up inside the top 5. Now, Norman had enough of those first lap games. He has clawed himself, worked himself back up to a 3.4 second lead here on this one with 17 laps to go. Dunford has lived to survive another lap here as he's still trying to hold the 65 behind him. But here comes Diamond right back at him. Oh, Norman! The leader has just wrecked it through turns 3. Major implications for the most dominant truck on the track tonight. You hate to see it if you are a fan of that 6 camp. Let's back it up and see what happened here. Unbelievable. In the bus, nope, they're not in a bus stop. Just gets back to the gas a little too soon, and right around goes the Ford F-150. Unbelievable. Now, what was a battle for second has turned into a battle for the lead, as Norman has fallen 6 seconds behind your leaders back in 6th. Dunford has just been handed the lead, something he has not been able to get all race long. All he has been able to see was Norman pull away. Well, now it has been handed to that 19. Merry Christmas, Brandon Dunford. Can he take this gift and run with it? Yellow, yellow, yellow. And the caution comes out for the 5th time tonight. That is not what Dunford, Diamond, and the rest of the top 5 wanted to see. Don Francisco just loses it out of the final turn there. Gets up on the rumble strips. No, he didn't. I thought maybe he got a little bit too much up on the rumble strips. Just got back to the gas a little too soon. And right around she goes. But this is not what Dunford, Diamond, Tucker, and Henning wanted. Because guess what, boys? Look in that 5th position. Norman is right back in this thing. You had him 7 seconds back. Well, now he is right back in this thing. Not what you wanted to see if you, like I just said, you are inside that top 4. 15 laps to go here at Canadian Tire. Last season, it came down to who made the fewest mistakes. This season, is it going to be the same? $15 laps to go, and your front row on this restart is going to look a lot different than most of them have, as Diamond now finding himself going to be restarting on that front row. Dunford, he's found himself up there all night long, but not as the control truck. Well, now, can he get himself a great launch just like he has seen Norman, his arch rival, do all night long? Your top 5 looking pretty close to what it has all night long. Dunford, Diamond, Tucker, Henning. The only difference is Norman is back in 5th, not up there next to that number 1 on the leaderboard. But man, Norman, if anyone is going to be able to rebound in this one, it's going to be him. He has had the truck to beat all night long. But pit road is gonna be busy, except for one pit stall and one pit stall only, as Brandon Dunford, the only truck to stay out. Gutsy call there for Dunford. We're gonna have to see if it works for him. But folks, we are gonna be stepping away here for another break. Don't go anywhere, because we got a lot more action to bring you from Canadian Tire.
Through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by
All right, folks, your running order has been completely shooken up after that pit stop. Brandon Dunford is going to lead the field back to 12 laps to go with Tucker on his outside, Diamond, Babcock, Norman, Henning, Tulloch, Trudeau, Bocock right behind him. Tucker taking full advantage of a fantastic pit stop. He passed Mitch Diamond, and he is now up there in that second position. But folks, we are going to have ourselves a heck of a dash to the end in this one. NEXXTCAR, well, it has a history of interesting finishes. Whether it's in the NEXXTCAR Truck Series or the Cup Series, we definitely have a knack for controversial finishes. Are we going to be in for another one here tonight in Canada? Dunford, Tucker, Diamond, Norman, now up to third. Henning, back into seventh. Things still getting shaken up here under pacing laps. That is not what you want to see. If you were the 25 or the 19, it's the 6 behind you, but the pace car is hooking that hard left. You're going to have to put that behind you. You're going to have to focus on these last 12 laps as we are going back racing with 12 laps to go in Canada. Dunford has seen Norman get a great launch all night long. Tucker is going to get spun. Matthew Tucker, big caution coming out of turn number 1. We stay green. Caution's going to fly for the 6th time tonight. Well, folks, that was not pretty. That was absolutely not pretty at all. But we're going to back it up here and see who's on the inside of the 25. I think the 65 had position. 25 of Tucker probably didn't think he did. But, yeah. Yeah, 65 was there, and Tucker just kind of came down into him a little bit. And then mayhem behind him. Nick Trudeau, who's rebounding nicely from his crash with the 5 of Christopher Thomas, coming out of turn number 1, finds an absolute parking lot in front of him. Let's back it up, and once again, let's jump inside the cockpit of this number 89 and see what exactly he saw from his point of view coming out of 1. There you see Tucker spinning it, and then the 14 just hits the wall right in front of everybody. Great job, honestly, by Nick to lock it down, not hit any other truck, not hit the wall. Fantastic job by Nick Trudeau in the 89. That was textbook right there on how to avoid a crash, but yet be in the crash. I mean, it don't get much better than that. But let's see what exactly happened to the 14 here and what caused him to get into that pit road wall. He's good right there. Just gets back to the gas a little too early. Maybe the 25 on his outside there spinning spooked him. And right around they all went. And Alberto Abar in that 13 involved in this one as well. And then the 14 for one more good measure goes ahead and hits that wall again. But, man, that restart was not pretty, folks. Things are starting to amp up here in Canada. 11 laps to go here in this one. Well, Tucker now finding himself back in that 10th position as he's going to have to look to try to rebound in this one. He found himself on the outside of the front row on this last restart. Well, now he's going to find himself on the outside of the fifth row on this one. So definitely the turn of events that Tucker in that 25 did not want to go through. But, yeah, I mean, it's all about rebounding. Don't let what happens on a certain lap dictate what happens at the last lap. So Tucker's got to find a way to overcome this. He's got to find a way to put this behind him. He's a multi-win winner here in he's a multi-race winner here in NEXXTCAR. And obviously he's a cup champion for a reason. So I have no doubt that Tuck can put this one behind him and possibly work his way back up there in these last 10 laps remaining here in Canada. But folks, let's go ahead and let's do a quick through the field here as we are going to start things off with Brandon Dunford. A very quiet race for that number 19. He has been in the top 3 most of today's race. Now finding himself once again the control truck as we are getting ready to go back racing again here at Canada. But Mitch Diamond has found his way up there inside the top 3 up here in second. Fantastic job so far by the 65. He's found himself in a couple of incidents, but nothing too major. But he has worked his way up into second. Ronnie Norman, the man on a mission, the truck to beat all night long. Well, now finds himself back in a position where he isn't used to being tonight, and that is anything but the lead. The first, 85% of this race belonged to that number 6. Well, after his uncharacteristic mistake in turn 3 heading into turn 4, he spun that 6 truck around, locked it down, fell back to 6th, but now has rebounded nicely on these cautions, taking full advantage up to 3rd. But can he get past those 2 guys in front of him? He's got some hungry fellas in front of him. Dunford, Diamond, 2 of the best here in the truck series. He's going to have his hands full trying to get around them, but Norman has had the truck to beat all night long. Paint to luck in that number 17 from Greenville, Tennessee. The man is definitely a road course ringer here of the NEXXTCAR League, and he has yet to win one yet here on iRacing at a road course, so he's still hungry for that first elusive win. If anyone can get it done on a road course, it can be that 17. How about the man in 5th right now? Folks, don't reset your TV because you are reading it right. Steve Bocock, the man that absolutely despises road course racing, is currently running inside the top 5. From Bridgeport, Indiana, the man in the number 12 has worked his way up there. He's got an absolute mirror full of 2 good guys behind him, but he is right now holding strong in that 5th position. Jonathan Wright in the 04. Well, it's been a topsy-turvy up and down race for that 04 so far tonight. He's had himself some good runs, but he's also made a few mistakes along the way. But right now, rebounding in 6th as they are getting ready to go side by side to go back racing here with 8 laps to go. Stephen Henning, the Canadian of the league. I talked to him in pre-race. He felt great about his chances tonight. He grabbed the pole last season here. He started 3rd tonight. Now, looking to try to finally put it together here at Canada and come away with a solid finish. Right now running in that 7th position. He's had a strong strong truck so far tonight. He has been one of the top 3 trucks all night in the first half of this race, but this second half has definitely not gone his way. That 64 truck looking to turn things around here as they go back racing with 8 laps to go. Alberto Abar, he's had his struggles tonight, but a couple pit strategies have went his way as he has worked his way up inside the top 10, up into the 8th position in that number 13 Army truck. We've mentioned it. He used pit strategy to get to where he is right now. He stayed out one time. It got him up to 3rd, and he has not looked back since in that 13 truck. He has now worked his way up to 8th, looking to try to salvage himself a fantastic finish here in this one. Nicholas Trudeau in that number 89. Well, you've seen him involved in a couple incidents. He was just involved in this last one. But that number 89 truck, besides that rear bumper, is looking absolutely clean. And maybe that left front fender is looking a little beat up there. But, hey, it's a road course. You don't need aerodynamics. You can just go out there and run your thing, Nick, as he has rebounded up into the 9th position in that number 89 truck. Looking to rebound. He won here last season, so he knows how to get it done, but he is going to have a tall task at hand if he is going to rebound from that 9th position. J.D. Larson wrapping up your top 10 here from Oregon, Illinois, in that number 18 with his son Cole Larson behind him. Two guys that have had some pretty quiet nights so far tonight, but looking to try to rebound here in this one and work their way back up towards the front. But folks, the lights are off on that Porsche. The field is side by side. That means one thing. We are going back racing with 8 laps to go this time. These guys just found out what not to do on the restarts. Are they going to learn? Are they going to repeat the same mistakes? Mistakes are fine as long as you learn from it. Well, how do these drivers respond to that one? Pace car, hooking that hard left, back onto pit road, control of the field, in Dunford's hand. Green flag's going to be back out in the air here in Canada. Beautiful launch by the 19 with the 65. Not going to let him get away here. Here comes the 6 of Norman. The 12, the 04, major implications. The 17's going to go around as well. We stay green. We stay green as we have got a 3-way battle for the lead as Henning has just worked his way up to 4th on the restart, but 2.5 back. Dunford is going to have to hold off Diamond and Norman. Norman has had the truck to beat all race long. Dunford, hungry for a win. Seven to go this time. Dunford looking for his first win of the season. Norman looking for another one. Norman got it done at Lucas Oil IRP 2 weeks ago. Looking to go 2 for 3 here in this one. The 19, big hop on the curbing. But that gives the 6 nowhere to go to work his way by him. Now, Henning up inside the top 3 after the mistake by Diamond. Trudeau up to 4th, but the leaders are going to battle this one back to the line. 6 to go this time. Dunford and Norman, the 2 best trucks all race long. Obviously, Norman has had the better one, but can Dunford show up when it matters most? Norman sideways out of the final turn. 6 to go. Norman, you can see just how much he is pushing that number 6. Caution's going to fly for the 7th time tonight. Robert Babcock is going to bring out your 7th caution of the night here at Canadian Tire, along with Mitch Diamond, a guy that was just battling for a top 3. Just cooks it a little too hot into the final turn. Right around he goes. Great heads-up move by Babcock, though, getting it out of the way. But Payton's going to come in. He's going to have nowhere to go. Don Francisco, they all do a fantastic job of missing him. But we're also getting word that Mitch Diamond crashed as well. So let's back it up and let's see what exactly transpired here for the 65, who these last couple of laps did not go the way he wanted it to. Maybe the 65 didn't wreck. I don't know why I came up and said he did. Oh. Something must have happened to the 65. Something has gone amiss on the 65 truck. You saw it come to a dead stop and then go back to pit road. So something severely wrong with that 65 truck. But folks, we have 5 laps to go here at Canadian Tire. Under caution once again, your 2 best trucks, make that your top 3 best trucks all night long. Now, 1, 2, 3 once again. Dunford, Norman, Henning. In the first early part of this race, those were the best 3 trucks all night long. Then it turned into the top 2 trucks of Dunford and Norman as Henning was stuck back in traffic trying to rebound from a mistake. Well, now he finds himself able to put that behind him, and he is back inside this top 3. Dunford, once again, gonna have to hold off Norman, one of the best in the business. Obviously, has the best truck out there on this track. Well, now, no longer has anyone in front of him. On this restart, he is gonna have clean air unless Dunford is able to clear him on this restart. This is not what you want to see if you were Dunford. The lights are off on that pace car, the lights are still on that pace car. So, folks, we're going to step away for one more break here as we are going to be right back to bring you more of the action here. We are going to be going racing with 2 laps left here at Canadian Tire. This is not NEXXTCAR overtime, folks. This will still be in regulated laps here, so don't go anywhere. Things are just now starting to heat up north of the border in Canada.
And I'm here waking up to the sun and the sound of birds. Society's anxiety, deprived of all that we're blessed with. We just can't get enough, no. Heaven, if you sent us down so we could build a playground for the sinners who play as saints. You'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now for every mother, every child, every brother who's caught in the crossfire. Whose ammunition justifies the wrong? And I can't see from the backseat, so I'm asking from above. Can I trust what I'm given, even when it cuts? So heaven, if you sent us down, so we can build a playground for the sinners to play as saints. You'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now for every mother and every child, every brother that's caught in the crossfire.
All right, folks, the lights are off on that pace car. We are going back racing this time. 2 laps shootout to settle it all here in Canada on the road course. We talked about it. NEXXTCAR has a knack for controversial finishes. Are we in for another one here on the one and only road course of the season? Dunford gonna have to hold off Norman one more time. Can Henning get up there and reign supreme in his home country? Or will Trudeau finally rebound and go back-to-back here at Canada? Who is going to be able to get it done here in this one? It's going to be exciting, folks. These drivers know what's at stake. 2 laps to go at the drop of the green flag. This is not NEXXTCAR overtime. This is still regulation. And we are going to have ourselves one heck of a finish. 2 of the best trucks all race long. Restarting side by side on that front row. This is what these drivers live for. This is just like being in overtime in baseball. You're up at the plate with a full count and you bomb it over the left field wall for the grand slam. Well, this is what this feels like for these drivers. Make sure that TV's strapped down because it is about to go for a wild ride here in this one. The pace car on pit road. 2-lap shootout for the NEXXTCAR Truck Series. Green flag's back in the air here. Great launch by the 19, the 6, trying to get it to his outside, not going to get there. Here comes Henning, the 6, off the track. The 6 spins it. Norman loses it. We stay green. Caution flies, we're going to overtime. Norman. Norman just carries too much speed, goes a little too wide in turn 1, and off the track just ever so slightly off those rumble strips, gets back to the gas with that right rear tire on the grass, and right around goes the 6. Caution flies for the 8th time tonight, and we are going NEXXTCAR overtime, baby. You hate to see it for Norman. The best truck all night long. And then cautions, breed cautions, and that changed the outlook of this race. But folks, don't look now. I mentioned him in pre-race. Do not count him out. That 64 truck is right back in this thing. And how about the 3rd and 4th place cars? Cole Larson, the son of J.D. Larson, 14 years old. Cole Larson is out here in his first season in NEXXTCAR, and he is running in 3rd with Robert Babcock in 4th. Babcock has definitely not had the greatest of nights tonight, but now he can put all that behind him. Can he rebound and bring home himself a great finish on a night that absolutely looked like he was going to be a struggle fest for that 14 truck, but now finds himself up there inside the top 5 along with Nicholas Trudeau, rebounding perfectly. But Dunford has got to feel a little bit of pressure off his chest after that restart. His biggest competitor of the night, Norman, takes himself out in this one. You absolutely hate to see it. You truly do. Norman absolutely dominated all race long until about 10 laps to go, and then he spun it by himself and just was stuck trying to recover ever since then, and just having to push that truck a little too hard, and now reaping the benefits of that. But Norman back in 13th position. But like I said, you have got to feel just a little bit better if you're Dunford in that 19. Dunford still looking for that elusive first win of the season here as we are officially in the second half of Season 2. 5 races down, folks. This is the 6th race of the season. There's only a couple more races left as we are only running 10 races here this season. But don't worry, if you're a fan of the racing and you're a fan of NEXXTCAR, well, next season is getting a whole lot longer. So we are in for one heck of a season next season, and I cannot wait. It is going to be fantastic from the booth. It's going to be fantastic from the seat of the Cup Series, and I know these drivers are going to absolutely eat it up. They are going to do a great job, but that's next season. We still got a season to finish, and we still got a race to finish here tonight. We are in for a great one here as we are now officially in NEXXTCAR Overtime. Here comes Christopher Thomas trying to get one of his laps back here. Two of the heavy hitters of the NEXXTCAR Truck Series, Wright and Diamond, 2 teammates for the American Badass Racing Team. Well, they've retired from this one. They're going to finish this one out in 14th and 15th. Christopher Thomas is 18 laps down, and Jeff Taylor, your other retiree, back there in the 17th position. 13 trucks still out on the track, folks. 13 of these guys still on the lead lap. The lights are off on that pace car. We are going back racing this time. It's NEXXTCAR Overtime, folks. This is what these drivers live for. They live for these moments, the spotlight moments, the pace car hooking that hard left. One more time, folks, reach up there, pull them seatbelts tight because we are going back racing in overtime. Green flag's going to be back out in the air here at Canadian Tire. Dunford absolutely nails the restart. Larson as well. He's up to second. Here comes Henning. Here comes Babcock. Sideways was the 14 coming out of 2. Or I'm sorry, coming out of 1. Cole Larson's going to finagle his way up to 2nd. Dunford is going to pull out to just under a 2nd lead over the rest of the field. Single file through turns 4 they go. Caution is going to fly for the 9th time tonight, and we are going NEXXTCAR Overtime Part 2. We're getting word Peyton to Luck in the 17 is going to bring out this one. And the night goes from great to bad to worse for the 6 of Norman. Norman just throws it in there and cannot hold it down there. Norman just trying to make up from that mistake, drives it in there too deep, gets on the grass, and Peyton came down into him. There's no doubt about it, but right around they go. And then they go head on right there too. Oh my, you can't write that one, folks. After spinning, they try to spin their trucks around and they go head on with each other. But we are going overtime racing one more time here, folks. But once again, we're going to step away here. Don't go anywhere, because we are going to bring you what will hopefully be the finish here this next restart. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't want to miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
All right, folks, we are going back green this time here in NEXXTCAR Overtime Part 2. Dunford, Larson, Babcock, Henning, Trudeau make up your top 5. Dunford, one of the best trucks out there tonight. Can he hold the field off one more time? And more importantly, can he hold off his HVAC Motorsports teammate at Cole Larson, who has made his way up inside the top 2? They are going to come out at the last turn for the final time. Green flag's going to be back out in the air. 2-lap shootout once again here in NEXXTCAR Overtime. But here comes Babcock. Trudeau's going to take out the field. But we stay green. Babcock's going to take over second place. Now, can he take the battle to Dunford? Dunford is going to have to hold him off for another lap and a half here. Norman has worked his way up to 6th. Tucker up to 5th. Babcock up to 4th. Henning has fallen back to 9th. Not the race that 64 truck wanted. Norman up to 4th. Caution's going to fly again as we have another major implications in the bus stop. Matt Tucker involved once again in this one with Babcock. Just gets up on the curbing a little too much. Steve was on his outside. Steve came down into the 25, and we are going NEXXTCAR Overtime Part 3. Let's see what Norman saw through all this. Able to lock it down and miss some spin in here. But now, we're getting word that Norman has just crashed. Under the pacing laps. Under the pacing laps, the 6 of Norman has just crashed on the front stretch. All by himself. Just gets off on the grass right there and noses it into the pit lane wall. He's going to get it rolling again, but man. Now Norman's going to be awarded his position back, apparently. He's going to be lining back up in that 4th position. But 10th caution of the night here at Canadian Tire. This is overtime number 3. These drivers have 2 more attempts at it. Can we get 2 more laps completed? That is the $1 million question on the track right now. Dunford, once again, is going to have to hold off this field. He's going to have Babcock lined up to his outside. Larson behind him. Norman, Abar, Henning, Don Francisco, Bocock, Tucker, and Tulloch making up the rest of your top 10. Norman in the 6 has been awarded his position back, so he will be lining back up in that 4th position. And that number 6 FanDuel Ford F-150. He's had to try to work his way up through the field a couple times here. Well, this ain't going to be any different this time. At some point, you got to wonder, how much fuel do these drivers have left? The last time that 19 of Dunford pitted was lap 17. Babcock and Larson both pitted on lap 40. Norman pitted on lap 53. And then Abar, Henning, both on lap 36. Don Francisco and Bocock lap 46. And then Tucker and Tulloch to round out your top 10, last pitted on lap 56. So if you're Dunford, you got to be a little worried about that fuel gauge right now. Last time he pitted was lap 17. So this has been a long stretch without a pit stop. But folks, he's going to have to put that fuel thought behind him, because we are going side by side here one more time at Canadian Tire for the NEXXTCAR Truck Series. The lights are off on that pace car one more time. The thing that is going to make Dunford the most happy on this restart is the fact that Norman is not going to be restarting directly behind him. Norman is going to be stuck on the outside behind the 14 and on the outside of the 20. So that is exactly what Dunford wants to see, not Norman right on his rear bumper. But folks, this field slowly but surely dwindling down here at Canadian Tire. 11 trucks left out on the track. One more sitting on pit road. That is Aaron Moore in the 21. But right now we have got 11 trucks out on that track. 11 trucks on the lead lap. This is for everything here, folks. These drivers, including this restart, have 3 more attempts at the green-white checkered NEXXTCAR overtime. Hopefully we don't have to use them. Hopefully these drivers can at least figure it out for 2 laps here in this one. I know y'all want to win it, but at this point, you have got to get it figured out to see what you can do to complete 2 more laps. I know it's easier said than done when you're up here in the booth and you don't have a shot at winning, but these drivers all out there do. So can someone be patient enough here and we can get this race finished? 10 cautions. But we have got to put that all behind us, as that pace car is going to lead the field back into the final turn. Hooking that hard left. On the pit road goes the pace car. Here comes the field. Dunford's going to lead the field back to the green flag. Babcock spins the tires. Here comes Larson. Babcock trying to carry as much momentum as he can to the outside of Dunford. Not going to be able to quite get there. Dunford's going to lead on back into turn number 2. Down the hill he goes into 3. Don Francisco's going to make contact with somebody. We're going to stay green. At this point, keep it green. Once that white flag waves and the field takes it, well, the next flag ends it. But Dunford, right now, leading the field here in this one back into the bus stop with 2 laps to go with a 4-car breakaway. Dunford, Babcock, Cole Larson, and Norman, your top 4 with Henning in 5th. You see the gap with Peyton Tulloch right behind him. Dunford leading the field. Back through the long backstretch just one more time. Dunford's now going to lead him into the quick backs here of Canadian Tire. The quick right-hander, the quick left-hander, back into the quick right-hander. Coming out of the final turn, the field is going to see the white flag. Final lap here presented by HVAC Designs here in the NEXXTCAR Truck Series at Canadian Tire. 2.46 miles left. Who is going to make a mistake and who is going to continue the clean race? Dunford has ran a clean race all night long, looking to do it one more time around this long track of Canadian Tire. Next flag ends it, whether it's the checkers or yellow. Dunford has undoubtedly had the second best truck all night long. But like we talked about in the pre-race and we talked about with Nick Trudeau in the pre-race interview, it's going to come down to who can make the least amount of mistakes. Well, Dunford has definitely done that. Norman had the best truck all night long, but Norman might not be taking that number 6 Ford F-150 to victory lane. He's going to possibly have to sit there and watch the 19 Toyota Tundra park it in victory lane. 3 corners remaining for the 19 at Dunford. Brandon Dunford is going to lead the field through the quick backs. He is going to lead them out of the final turn. Brandon Dunford is going to survive multiple overtimes. Dunford's going to get his first win of the season here at Canadian Tire. And they wreck behind him. Brandon Dunford's going to survive a wacky one up north. Cole Larson loses it. Coming out of the final turn, he's going to unofficially finish in 9th. Brandon Dunford had to show off his skills here in this one. And Dunford from Milton, Florida is going to get his first win here of Season 2 in the NEXXTCAR Truck Series. Getting it done here. He started second. Well, he is going to come home a winner for the first time this season. He had to overcome a lot tonight. That 19 truck, I don't think, made very many mistakes, but he had to overcome the mistakes of others as we went into 3 overtimes, and he was still able to hold off this field. Brandon Dunford, absolutely amazing job by that 19 truck, overcoming all the challenges that were thrown at him by this field, but able to put them behind him and move on to his first win. All right, Dunford, burn it down, brother. You earned it. You ain't got much room on the front stretch, but burn it down. Well, there you go, folks. Let's go ahead and let's pull up your race results for tonight's race. Brandon Dunford getting his first win of the season here at Canadian Tire. Finishing second, Robert Babcock, Ronnie Norman, the truck to beat all night long, going to bring it home in third. Paint to Luck's going to rebound for 4th. Stephen Henning in 5th. Matt Tucker 6th. Steve Bocock 7th. Nick Trudeau 8th. Cole Larson 9th. Nicholas Don Francisco 10th. Alberto Abar 11th. Aaron Moore 12th. JD Larson in 13th. Jonathan Wright in 14th. Mitch Diamond 15th. Christopher Thomas 16th. Jeff Taylor in 17th. But folks, don't go anywhere because we could have some very interesting post-race interviews in this one. I'm sure there's going to be some upset drivers. I'm sure there's going to be some happy drivers. So don't go anywhere, folks, because this is going to be interesting. We'll be right back to bring you those interviews.
The king of rock, think the people have spoken. I can hear the tick-tock of the clock, I'm in motion. So now I'm gonna pop, causing all this commotion.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable. Yeah. Ready to go, man, lock and load. That's right. I swear to God that I could drop you, bro. Yeah. I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. Yeah, let's go. I don't care what they all say. That's right. I'ma do this thing my way. Let's go. Been grinding hard on it all day. Okay. We work hard, then we all play. Yeah. I'm addicted to the grind, man. That's right. So I refuse to waste time, man. Yeah. One day it all will be fine, man. Let's go. Gotta commit to the climb. You know we're back with the Guinness, setting records every minute, every track. In addiction to the fact that we're winning, still we lack something's missing. Need a track that is hitting, making racks, making millions. Yeah. So rap, that's the mission. I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah. Sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable. Yeah. Ready to go, man, lock and load. That's right. I swear to God that I could drop you, bro. Yeah. I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable.
All right, folks, welcome back here to post-race interviews from up north at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Brandon Dunford, man, you had quite a few challenges thrown at you tonight from this field, none more than Ronnie Norman and those 3 overtime. Congrats on your first win of the season.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Huge shout out to my team. Me and Ronnie did a lot of testing on this track to get the set up to where it needed to be. So coming down into the corner or coming out of the corner there and seeing him spin while he was in the lead, I hated to see it. But I knew he was going to bounce back from it. I knew he had a strong truck. But yeah, just huge shout out to my team for, continuous communication throughout the race. And then, to try to get that win and stay up front. I knew that once I didn't elect to take tires, I knew it was going to be a tall task, but I knew I had a fast truck. So I was ready for the challenge.
Oh, absolutely. We knew you had a fast truck right out of the gate. I mean, you, Norman, and Henning, that first early part of the race, I mean, you had the top 3 trucks all night long. And then, like you said, Norman, he had his problems there. Henning had a couple of his issues. But, in the pre-race, I talked about what it was going to come down to. Nick hit on it. It was going to come down to the drivers that made the least amount of mistakes, and you were that driver tonight.
Yeah, I got to say too, I had a lot of fun racing with Henning. I was even communicating with my team that I just couldn't shake him. So I knew he was going to be one that was going to stay with us, with me and Norman up there to to continue to battle off. So if it stayed green, I didn't know how much of a confidence level I had to keep him off, but he raced me clean the entire time. So, shout out to him for that. But yeah, it was diversity tonight. That's what it comes down to, these road courses, especially this Canadian Tire. It's a hard course. It's challenging. It takes a lot of knowing your braking points, hitting your shift marks. So the challenges presented itself tonight, so it comes down to, like I said, diversity though. So, and luckily we were able to avoid all of it tonight and stay ahead.
Absolutely, man. Well, congrats on that first win of the season here. Starting out the second half of season 2 on the right foot.
Yeah, definitely feels good, and I appreciate it, Ronnie.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Moving on to your second place finisher, his highest finish of the season so far, Robert Babcock. What's going on, buddy?
Not much.
You had a very interesting race. You were caught up in a couple incidents there. Coming out at turn 1, that seemed to be a huge issue for a lot of guys tonight, but you were able to rebound and come home in second.
Basically, I'm trying to just focus, try to keep the mistakes limited, but everybody say spinning out in front of me half of the time. I try to avoid them. But if I just if I want one more caution, it'd be nice.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned it, people spinning in front of you, and, Norman had the same issue there heading into the bus stop. I mean, I believe Peyton Tulloch it was Matt Tucker and Steve Bocock got into each other there right in front of him, and he had to avoid them, and that seemed to be the story of the night, was missing other people's stuff tonight.
Yeah, basically just watching Tuck and Steve Bocock rack in front of me, and Peyton half the time. Peyton and I've been around once, so I didn't see Steve at all. And Tuck, I've been around basically the second half of the race most of the time.
Absolutely, man. So, obviously you were suspended for one race earlier on in the season, and then you rebound here. You get your highest finish of the season. What kind of momentum does this give you heading into the rest of the second half of the season?
I believe it gives me hope to go into the next race. I feel like I have that speed now, and I could just focus on next week. But I need to focus on tomorrow at my home track. Think about it, and try to capitalize on it tomorrow to keep all the good finishes continuing.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, congrats on that second place finish.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Moving on to your third place finisher, the man that had the best truck undoubtedly all race long, Ronnie Norman. What's going on, man?
You're starting to sound like a broken record there, pal.
Yeah, another one slips through the cracks for you tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy. I honestly don't even know what I was doing when I spun out. Like I said, I was talking to the team. I was just looking down at the relative, and all of a sudden she just cut out on me, and somehow didn't get into the wall. But losing that lead, it really shows you what can happen after that. So one thing I gotta apologize to Peyton Tulloch. I absolutely drove it in, and I'm not used to being on the inside of a truck going into that turn, so I missed my braking point because I used the sign there on the left, and I couldn't see it with him out there, and I will hop, got into the grass, took him out. So I apologize, Peyton. I do not I hate taking people out like that. So I was really happy to see him rebound and get a fourth. So I still feel bad, but not as bad. I'm glad he got a top 5. So, but yeah, other than a great run tonight by the HVAC team, it's nice to see another win by us with Brandon up there. Congrats to him. Congrats to Robert in second. I don't know what I don't know if I was just in a weird headspace after spinning out and was just mad, and you just see it trickle down and what it can do the rest of the race for you. So happy to rebound. Got back up to third on the podium, and I think we somehow still got the points leaving here. So it's close though. Brandon's putting some pressure on me now. So. But yeah, no, it was another interesting race. Just hope we can clean some stuff up and stop making mental mistakes.
Absolutely. You mentioned it. The HVAC trucks were strong tonight. Brandon, you, Cole Larson for the couple of overtimes there, he found himself up inside the top 3. So I don't know what you guys did, if you guys put in some extra practice, but that whole team looked really strong tonight.
Yeah, we're just trying to show out for one of the best RCs in the leagues out here. So it was, it's a fun team to be with. We all get together, and with this being really my first full-time season in here, it's really been nice to get with a good group of guys and have fun this season. So like I said, we'll just move on to next week. Hopefully we can have another good running and show on for the people and put another good show on.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, congrats on that rebound to 3rd.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Another man that had to rebound. Peyton to luck. What's going on, man?
Not much, Ryan. How you doing?
Pretty good. You had to rebound to 4th there after a couple incidents, but you're able to do it and come away with a pretty solid finish here.
Yeah, before I get going, I just want to congratulate Brandon for his win. Most consistent driver out here tonight. Well deserved. Congrats to Camaro for last to 2nd. Very impressive. And shout out to Norman for his comeback. He drove the wheels off it there. And, no hard feelings on him getting into me. I made mistakes tonight too. So it happens. I totally get it. He was on fresh tires and going. I've done the same thing. So no hard feelings there. But for me personally tonight, I'll be honest with you, this was my worst skill race all season, which is crazy for me at a road course. This is kind of usually my bread and butter, but I made mistakes, had mistakes tonight. Did no favors for me to, stay in contention. I mean, early in the race, I had a top 3 truck there running really well. I spun out. After that, I never got my groove back all night long. So the fact that I stole, I feel like, a 4th place tonight is, maybe not well deserved, but we'll take it after some of the luck we've had this season, and hopefully to take this momentum and move on to next week, and hopefully drive a little bit better.
Absolutely, man. Well, congrats on that top 4.
Thank you so much.
And rounding out your top 5, Stephen Henning. I know you were looking to try to get one done at your home track, buddy, but you started 3rd. Last season you started on the pole. Well, tonight you come home with another top 5.
Yeah, it was a good, decent night for us. We had a few incidents here and there, but it was a good night, I guess you would say.
Absolutely, man. In the first part of the race, you were one of the top 3 trucks out there. I mean, Norman was on a whole nother league, but you heard Dunford on his point of view explain his battle with you. Well, you guys looked like you were having an absolute blast out there.
Oh, it definitely was, and I just want to say right back to him that I had a blast with him all night, racing him, and I'm going to race him clean because he didn't do anything to me anytime I've raced him, so I'm going to race him clean. But a reason why I fell off was I actually just figured out that something in my shifter actually broke, so it wasn't getting in gear right.
Yeah, that'll do it, especially at a road course. I mean, you use all 4 gears in that truck, so that'll cause you to fall back.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But congrats on that 5th place finish, buddy. I know you wanted a little more at your home track, but top 5's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Ronnie.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and check out your standings here as we're going to cut these interviews short as it is getting late. It's already 11:30. Let's go ahead and check out your point standings here. But Ronnie Norman, he's going to lead Canada with that points lead. But like he mentioned, Brandon cutting it down big time here. Just 3 points separates him and Brandon Dunford. And then Matt Tucker back in 3rd, Peyton Tullock in 4th, and Nick Trudeau going to round out your top 5 in the points. But folks, that is going to do it for the NEXXTCAR race north of the border at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Tomorrow night, it's the Cup Series turn to do it at Watkins Glen, New York. And then the Truck Series next Sunday, head to Atlanta, the new configuration, basically super speedway racing there. It's going to be another good one at Atlanta. It was last season. Can Nick possibly back that one up with a win there again? But folks, I will catch you guys tomorrow night as we see the Next Gen Cup cars do it all over again at another road course. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of your week.